This training mission follows the procedures described on the flight manual of the real aircraft, adapted for use on the A-4E of DCS. The step numbers, when provided, corresponds to those of the NATOPS manual, and are given to allow easy reference to it. The checklist includes the following sections. Before taxi. Taxi. Before launch. Launch. Initial climb. If the cockpit interior is too dark, activate the flashlight with left Alt plus L. If the yellow cross cursor is not visible, press left Alt plus left Shift plus C to make it appear. Also, you can press spacebar to cut. Previous to taxi, you should complete the final checks. On the lower right side of the cockpit there is a concise checklist to remind you of the steps. 1. Check trim. A. Aileron trim. Confirm stick is centered. B. Rudder trim. Confirm that it is set to 0 degrees. C. Elevator trim. Check that it is set to 7.5 degrees nose up. 2. Seat harness, shoulder harness locked. Click on its handle to adjust. 3. Canopy, close before moving the aircraft, using the highlighted lever. 4. Flaps, confirm that they are retracted for taxiing. 5. Speed brakes, check that they are on the closed position. 6. Armament, confirm all switches off, emergency selector switch at appropriate setting. 7. Spoilers, check that they are armed, for carrier operations. 8. Nose wheel steering switch. Check that it is set to normal. This switch is not simulated yet, so it can't be moved. Confirm nose wheel operation, by pressing the nose wheel steering button on the HOTAS, or the N key, while using the rudder to steer. Use F2 to check it from outside view. We will tune the TACAN receiver to the carrier's TACAN station 74X. First set the TACAN mode to transmit receive. To tune the station 74, right-click on the center of the tuning dial. Good. Now, right-click on the outer part of the tuning dial, until a 7 shows on the middle of the channel window, for a total display of 074. Finally, adjust the volume knob until you can just hear the TACAN station's Morse code, to confirm that it is correctly tuned. The UHF radio is energized by turning its function selector knob, from off to DR or DR plus G. With DR plus G, the separate guard frequency should be monitored, in addition to the selected channel or frequency, but this is not simulated in DCS. The radio can be tuned in one of two modes. Preset. The mode selector knob is placed in this position if one of the 20 preset channels, that were programmed by the ground crew, is to be used. Man. Used when the desired frequency is not preset. The mode selector knob is placed in man, and the frequency is set manually by using the 3 manual select knobs. For this mission, select preset mode. Next, we will tune the UHF radio. Currently, our Stennis carrier is using an ATC, UHF. Use the highlighted knob, with right or left mouse clicks, to set the first 2 digits to display 25. Now, use the next knob, to set the third digit to 5. The visor should display 255.00. Good. Now use the highlighted knob, to complete the frequency so that the visor reads 255.75 MHz. Now, that we have the radio properly tuned, contact the Stennis air traffic controller by pressing the HOTAS PTT button or the / key. Select F5. ATC. Select F1. CVN 74, John C. Stennis. Select F3. Request startup.
010. Cleared for startup. Wind 214. At 6 meters per second.
We are now ready to taxi. Advance throttle to about 80% before releasing the brakes. Release brakes and, when the desired taxi speed is reached, retard throttle a bit. Taxi to whichever catapult has been assigned. For this mission we will taxi towards catapult. Good. Now turn left, and proceed towards the stern of the ship. Now turn right, towards the deflector plate of catapult number 4. Good. Now turn right again, towards catapult number 3. You are now almost at catapult number 3, proceed forward and align with the catapult shuttle. You are now near enough to the catapult. Press spacebar once you are hooked to the catapult. Good. Now that you are still and properly hooked to the catapult, you should do a manual fuel control check. Press backspace if you want to do it, or spacebar to skip it. Skipping manual fuel control check. 2. Check for takeoff flaps, they should be set to half flaps. 3. Recheck the attitude gyro, RMI, engine instruments, trim indicators, and flap setting. 4. Ensure drop tank switch in pressure position if external fuel carried and ensure emergency wing transfer switch off. We are now ready to launch. Increase throttle to military power and then wait a few seconds for the catapult to launch your aircraft. On the air. Retract the landing gear, with the G key or by clicking the highlighted handle. Once the aircraft clears the catapult and a positive rate of climb is established, execute a clearing turn to stay clear of the ship's path. Climb to 500 feet and fly parallel to the ship's heading, 30 degrees. Continue straight ahead at 500 feet and 300 knots, paralleling the ship until 7 miles from the carrier. We are near 170 knots, retract the flaps using the HOTAS or the F key. You are now at 500 feet. Maintain this altitude until 7 miles from the carrier. You have reached 300 knots. Maintain this speed until 7 miles from the carrier. Maintain a parallel heading to the carriers, 30 degrees, until 7 miles from the carrier. Your altitude is too high. Try to maintain 500 feet. You are now at 7 nautical miles from the carrier. You may now climb along your planned route and accelerate to cruise speed. Congratulations, you have successfully finished this training mission. On the next mission, we will learn the Case 1 carrier recovery procedure. You were not able to attain the mission goal. Press escape to exit the mission and fly it again later. You're dead.